All right, well, here we go. We're starting to prepare our veggies. We've got a little collard green on the table here, a little bit of cilantro, and we're doing some dandelion greens for all those guys that had a weed grandma's yard. That's for those guys. This thing is packed with nutrition. We have no idea, but we're just going to add it in there. We've got some parsnips. Now, that's basically the winter carrot. For all those who aren't familiar with parsnip, it's basically a carrot that generally grows during the winter. So when you see it during the winter months, that means that's its natural season. When you see this in the winter, you know it's not really its natural season. But anyways, we've got a little bit of carrot there, a little bit of there. We've got a little bit of red bell pepper, collard greens. And so when I cut off the parsnip and the carrot ends, as well as all of my food scraps, I like to just go ahead and go into a 5-gallon baggie right there, a Ziploc baggie that's going to be kept in the freezer. And then when we get that thing pretty loaded up, we can just throw that right on into the crock pot. We got a whole bunch of veggie broth coming. Super stuff. Good stuff. Also on this, we got some fish about ready to go into the pressure cooker. We're not really sure. This is one of those things where we just kind of have to guess. Oh, but it says here fish. So let's just go to fish and see what it says. It says 3 minutes. I don't know. That seems, wow, they can cook my fish in 3 minutes. That's pretty quick. Okay, so we're going to be using a little bit of purple cabbage today. We've never really used cabbage, never worked with it. We have heard that some of the optimum pro tips is to remove that outer coating because that's generally where you're going to get any sort of like bug spray or any of that extra nasty stuff they like to spray all over stuff. Now, we're going to end up washing this, but for in the meantime, we're just going to take off that first layer. And we don't mind putting it in our freezer bag. And why is that? Because that's going to go into a crock pot for 3 days. It's going to be boiling for 3 days. If there's anything in it, it's probably a good chance it's going to get cooked up, and all we're going to get is the nutrients out of that good stuff there. So I'm going to take my knife because I've never cut a cabbage. I'm very excited about this. I seem like I just want to go just like this with it. This is way more than we probably are going to want for this coleslaw. We're going to be making a fish coleslaw. I think that's more than sufficient. I think I've actually went a little overboard. So I think what I want to do is just cut that down. And I've got my little strainer there and an extra cutting board right there. Works out good for me. And I'm thinking, I just want to come across it. Maybe we're just going to try to get some like onion cuts out of the deal right there just to start with. And then it's not real critical. We actually have a food processor we could probably use. I think that's going to be sufficient. But I don't really know because I've never done this. So we're going to go ahead and put those two together, and those are going to go back into some storage and back into the refrigerator, probably to go in some other goodie things that we're going to make this week. So here we go. This is more of a custom, normal custom for coleslaw. It's just your regular green cabbage. And again, I have no familiarity with this cabbage. I've never used it. I have been told it's best to peel those outer layers, and I already know that I can put it in there because it's going to get into that boiling temperatures for a couple of days, and so it's going to kill anything that might be kind of funny in there. So let's just go ahead and take a bit of the head off of this one. Some beautiful looking cabbage right there, and we're going to just go ahead and come across it right there. It doesn't really matter because we still need to wash it, and then after we wash it, we're going to go ahead and do a healthy saute. Now, normally I'm not doing a lot of stuff with healthy saute, but that's okay because it's a good way to cook. We're basically looking to preserve the nutrients right now. So what we want to do is we just start breaking it apart here. If you can see what I'm doing there, I've got this wonderful little sink screen right here that I can put my veggies in, and I just want to get some water going over the top of them. I just want to kind of clean them off. Even though generally they don't have a lot of buildup inside, bacteria could sit up in there. And so we're going to do the same thing with the purple. We're just going to kind of break it apart. We're going to kind of go like that. Again, at the end of the day, we're going to probably put it into the food processor because we want to really get some small bites because we don't want to overwhelm anybody with the coleslaw. So there we've got some good greens. Well, some good yellows and purples, actually, that are going to go into our coleslaw. So we're very excited about that. Plus of all of this. This is kind of the hidden gem right here. We're going to go with collard greens. extremely healthy, extremely healthy. And we're going to go ahead and go with those. And so with those, we're going to need to actually have some water boiling for our steam pot. And we cook our collard greens into our steam pot. That's going to go on to the top of here once that water is heated up. At the same time, we're going to go ahead and get a little saute ready. So we're talking about just a regular old stainless skillet or something you got there. It's not real important. And I happen to have some chicken broth, which is a wonderful source of collagen. If you really want to rebuild up your skin and your bones and all kinds of stuff, and now we're seeing collagen plays a big role in bone marrow. So that's very, very cool. I might have to have my wife open it. Anyways, so we got some chicken broth right there, some chicken bone broth actually, and we're going to just pour a little bit into the pan right there. And we're going to go ahead and start that heat on. Now we're going to turn on high just for a moment, just because we want to get it kind of the heat up because we really weren't prepared. And that's okay. This is kind of a first run. We're just kind of jumping in here. We're going to do some fast forward options and things that you can kind of scoot right on through. What I like to do, even though you could use we could probably use a glass bowl. A glass bowl or something like that would probably be suitable for what we're going to do. But because I just want to make sure I have extra room to just blend it all in there really, really nicely without like spilling all over the counter, which I'm really good at. I'm just going to put that to the side for now. We might come back to that. In the meantime, we're planning on going to go into just a deep pot. We just grabbed one out of the cabinet, no big deal. Nothing complicated there. And all the goods, once they're prepared and ready to go in, are going to go into there. And then we're going to get it all mixed in. So we have dandelion greens, parsnip, carrots, red bell peppers, a little bit of cilantro, collard greens, white and red cabbage. We've got some fish cooking. We're going to do pollock. It has a very low fish flavor. I found that to be not very fishy at all. And so it kind of blended well in the coleslaw and give us an additional boost from our omega-3s. So as we're heating some things up, this is going to take a minute here. We're probably going to end up pausing the video, but let me just do a quick rundown. We're going to throw in some vinegar, no worries. You can use any vinegar you want. I'm going to use a little bit of apple cider. I love these guys. They got a fish on there because they love God. They love Jesus. So I'm excited about that. I also like to use a little bit of yogurt. Now, this yogurt doesn't have any flavors or anything like that. No sugar added. This is just simply milk and cultures. It's just basic yogurt. If we went back into the Bible times, Sarah was making some stuff for the 3 men that came to see him. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. She would have just took a little bit of a curdling culture, and she would have put it in with some probably some goat's milk even, and made up some yogurt or some butter or something of that nature. The translation's not quite clear, but it just depends on what they were using to describe what she was making. But either way, it was cultured milk, and so we know that's basically yogurt. And so thankfully they make yogurt that doesn't have a bunch of added stuff in it, that's just yogurt. And then here you get a whole bunch of good bacteria for your probiotics. This is just going to be really good all the way around. We know apple cider vinegar is tremendously important for a lot of different things. And I've got some pickles here, just in case I want to give a little bit of more of a tangy, pickly, more of a tartary sauce kind of a feel for my coleslaw. You know, sometimes I'm a big fan of pickles, and so there it goes. We've got some wonderful pickles, and now this company here is fantastic. They, if I were to give them a review or critic right now, I would say Grillo's Pickles is A, number one. Not a lot of pickles like them. Guess what's inside of it? Cucumbers, water, vinegar, salt, garlic, dill, and grape leaves. Everything there God made, and so that's a good thing. That's a good place to be. Now, if you have high blood pressure or anything like that, or for example, so much vitamin K in the collard greens, you want to make sure with your doctor that everything is all right as far as that goes. So we're going to turn this heat down a little bit now because we're not trying to roast anything. We just want to do a healthy saute. So since I'm on the small burner, I'm going to go almost to halfway. Again, I'm testing the waters right now, so I really want to just start to see a little bit of steam coming off of that. That means that the temperature is starting to really permeate the fluid. We don't need to use oil. You want to avoid doing any frying in oil every chance you get, because we want to add oil at other times to add the nutrients without taking the risk of burning them in the cooking process. And so, because that damages them and then actually creates more harm. So we got this one here. We need that to a boil. That's coming along. Then we're going to leave that go. We've got our freezer bag, and since we're kind of done up for now, you know what? Let me cut off the ends off these collard greens, because usually I just take that very tip end of that stem, because sometimes they can be very, very tough, and we can just pop them right in there because we want the nutrients. We don't want to lose out on the nutrients. So everything goes into the nutrient bag, and then we just put that right back in the freezer, and there we go. We tuck it away. Okay, well, the pressure cooker wasn't able to get the pressure. So most of this we're actually going to go into the food processor. So what I want to do is I'm going to wrap up. We're going to pause the video. I'm going to wrap up the 2 cabbages. We're going to get the processor moved over, and we're going to start processing some foods.
And we're paused.
Awesome. Thanks, babe.
You're very welcome.
I have no issue talking.
No, you certainly don't.
And for those that like to watch a video and hear somebody talk, it'll work out.
Totally.
It'll work out great for them.
So I see how I'm saying, like, if you could do a full video that you take your whole 2 hours and somebody could cook in the kitchen with you and just follow along with exactly what you do.
Right. And then if somebody else wants to just go quick list and get to the end,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're
I
way
mean,
good.
I just want the recipe. I just want the
Alright, so
the
that
ingredients.
That was no good. Whoa, that temperature was too hot. That's very dangerous. Okay, that's good. This is going to take a minute. I got my 5-minute timer. We're going to talk about that.
And I tried to charge the phone, but or this.
Oh, what's missing? What's missing is the dill.
So I'll just we'll just scrap the idea of using this camera.
What is it? The shop?
The shop, yeah, the shop.
Shop camera? What camera? Oh, the actual
The
still
one.
camera. Let me find out. It is a stillborn camera.
Alright, next time I'll be more prepared. Find the tripod. I think we should.
All right, we're about ready.
I think we should test the video quality of my phone, your phone, and the camera,
To find out what's the best.
and find out what's the best, because I have my preferences, but I don't need to worry about what I like. But best possible. You just tell me when you're ready to go.
All right. Well, no, because I need to move the processor over
Okay.
here, and I got stuff hopping and rocking. I can tell it's ready to roll. All right. Alrighty. We got the processor there. What I need is that. Oh, we're all ready to shred. All right. Let me dial my head one more time. I think I want to take a big hit real quick.
Maybe turn the air on.
It's something, because it's getting hot back here.
Yeah, and we can't have the fan on high, or you're not going to hear you.
Right.
Oh, I need to get a still of the dill. I'm trying to keep me out of the.
Maybe I should start chopping. Okay, we don't need to cook any of this. None of this needs to be cooked. But we do, yeah, and I kind of want to show this part, because this is something that, not that I take pride in it, but it's just something is effective, works good, and it gets it all in. So,
Ready?
looking for my cup. Oh, actually my cup's empty. Let's use water.
It's steaming up the camera.
All right, let's go. All right. Ready?
Ready? 3, 2.
Oh, the camera's way off.
So, no, that's about right, I guess. We don't need the stove as much. We don't need the fridge as much either, though. That's good.
Okay.
3, 2.